2026 is fast approaching, and I have decided for myself personally that that will be very much a year of gaming. So I have been failing miserably on the gaming side of the hobby for quite some time. I just can't seem to carve out like a routine or just anything like that for myself to get enough games in. So my plan for 2026 is every second weekend I want to have a game booked in and play, whether it be Old World or it be 40k or it be Necromunda or whatever it is. I just want to play more games. With that in mind, my friends have decided to go down the route of playing through the 500 Worlds campaign and getting our armies together and getting that organized and sorted like that. And we're all kind of like carving out what armies we would like to play. We've decided to play 2 armies a piece. That way, in the group of kind of 5 or 6 of us that there is, we can have a wide variety of armies. The idea is that each person will play a good guy army and a bad guy army. And then hopefully that will balance out the scales a little bit when it comes to actually running the campaign. So for me, I'm gonna go for my Imperial Fist army and my Death Guard. My Death Guard are an army that I've had for quite a long time. I actually started collecting them when the new range of Death Guard miniatures dropped with the original starter box, and it just kind of never stopped growing from there. I've amassed quite a large collection of miniatures, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you kind of what things I've got completed with that project so far, what things I've gotten built and started, and what things are still sitting in sprues. I'm gonna walk you through that whole process, and then I'm gonna go through my thought process on how I wanna start this project for the 500 Worlds. Spoiler, us as a hobby group are going to be starting with boarding patrols, which means we have to build a 500 point army to begin with. I've already got mine planned out, and we're going to be painting up one of the miniatures in that video, or for that force, in today's video. So stick around and enjoy that. Okay, let us talk about what I have already completed. And unfortunately, it's such a kind of ragtag group of miniatures that don't make a lot of sense because they were made for kind of content more than they were made for an actual playable force. So, for instance, we have a squad of Plague Marines. A squad of Plague Marines look really nice. These are the Space Marine Hero set of Plague Marines, these 7 models right here. And you may be thinking to yourself, 7 models, that's a nice squad to kind of get started with. It's very nurgly and it suits the theme. Well, actually, because it's the Space Marine Heroes, the Sorcerer is a character and the icon is a separate kind of elite's choice. So it's actually only a squad of 5 with these 2 characters. But I kind of like them being like the Space Marine Heroes squad left as, I don't know why it's not focusing on the squad in front of me for some reason. I kind of like them being like a solid squad by themselves. So I think I'm just going to leave them like that. That will be the squad. I don't care. If anyone has a problem with that, they can just deal with it. But yeah, that's the first squad. So I've got one troop choice, 7-man squad of Plague Marines done. I have a squad of 10 Poxwalkers done. I have that new kind of Lord of Contagion model with his beautiful big greatsword. Absolutely love that model. Done. I have my Typhus conversion here. Another model I'm super proud of. Really like that guy. Typhus, one of my favorite characters. I have 5 Terminators. I have 3 drones, 2 of the Forge World ones, which are actually 3D prints, and 1 of the actual plastic Blight drones, looking super cool. These are great air Blight drones. I have a tank which is like half painted. I did the hull and armor, like the green is kind of ready to rock and roll. I just have to do all the trim and the gold and all that stuff. So I say if I put 2 hours into that tank, it will be finished. So I really need to do that soon. And then it gets weird where it's Mortarion, an Imperial Knight, and a Warhound Titan. So as goes points, there's probably a lot of points on the table, but is that in any way, shape or form a playable army? No, not even a little bit. It's not, no. So I'm glad to have all this painted, but there's definitely, I need a lot more useful things painted in order to have a playable force. But having said that, really pleased with my Mortarion. I think he looks super cool. I love my Imperial Knight. It's cool to have a Nurgle Knight painted up and ready to go. I have a bunch of other Chaos Knights kind of unbuilt, and at some stage they'll all go in that scheme, and I'll just have like a Nurgle household to go with my Knights. And then I've obviously got a Chaos Warhound Titan, and that's all painted up to match my Death Guard as well. So for larger games, if we manage to get there as a group, then it'd be really cool to see kind of Titan stomping across the board. As you can see in my backdrop, there's another Warhound there, there's another Warhound there, there's a Reaver Titan there. Knight Porphyrion. I'm liking the big stompy robots. So if we ever get to play a bigger game and actually field some of these behemoths, that would be really cool. Okay, going on to the stuff that I have. I've got some other stuff painted, but I don't like it. It's not right. So this is the stuff that I have kind of built, but not really painted. So first of all, I got a trio of Chaos Rhinos. Those trio of Chaos Rhinos are actually pretty cool because they all have the Forge World doors and fronts to make them Nurgly, which is really cool. So all three of them have that upgrade. And they can get painted up fairly quickly. And I always did think that my kind of Death Guard Marines would kind of trundle around the battlefield in Rhinos because they move so slowly. I don't particularly want any of them dying before they get into the fray. So some Rhino protection is pretty cool. And the kind of stomping across the battlefield in waves would be all the Poxwalkers and stuff like that. So yeah. I've got a pair of Demon Princes. I've got the new plastic one, which I painted in a scheme that just doesn't match my current scheme at all. So I might try and paint over certain sections and tidy it up, or I may have to strip them and start again. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely want them to match this more. And as you can see, the tones just don't match at all. So he needs some serious work. And then I have the old resin one, which is actually one of my favorite miniatures. And if I was to do a Demon Prince for the army, I'd rather have this guy fully painted. I just wish I had the metal one. This is the fine cast one. It's fine, I actually got a pretty good sculpt, but I would just prefer the heft and weight of a metal one. So it's a bit of a shame that I have the fine cast one, but we shall make do. I've got obviously more Marines, so there's 2 more full squads of 10 Marines. I've also got these guys broken up as like, they will forever be the same squad. So these guys have red dots under their bases, so that 10-man squad will stay together forever. These guys have purple underneath them. That 10-man squad will stay together forever. I kind of like that. I like the units staying together forever. I think it's really cool. You know, you can tell cool narrative stories, what games they played in, how they performed, stuff like that, forever. I got another squad of 20 Poxwalkers built, not really important. I have a really cool squad of 7 Plague Marine Terminators. The reason they're cool is it's the box of 5 standard Blight Lord Terminators. And then obviously they did a box of 3 additional Terminators that were like push fit. So 2 of them are mixed in here as well, which means that all 7 Terminators in this squad are completely unique sculpts, which is pretty cool. Actually, I skipped the fact that I did 5 other Terminators are fully painted here. So there's 5 Terminators there, there's 7 more there. There's another box of 5 there. Don't ask me why I have 17 Terminators, but I do. And that's just those Terminators. We don't talk about these Terminators, but lots of Death Guard Terminators I think is pretty cool. I've got a whole host of other characters. Old Typhus, don't really deal with him. These are some of the, you know, the guy that makes the cool grenades, and then the guy that makes all the kind of poisons and stuff. So I keep forgetting their names, but they're fairly cool. I got the guy that came with that squad of 3 Terminators. The guy I think looks like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. But he's one of my favorite characters as well. Focus. One of the weird things about this guy is that he's so big. Like, I don't know why they made him so big. He's bigger than Typhus. Why would a random Terminator Lord be bigger than Typhus? But he's incredible sculpt. It's absolutely amazing. So get him painted up at some stage. And then obviously the Flamer guy as well. The new Terminator guy. I forget all their names. So many different names. One of the other cool things I got is this. This is a Plague Hulk. This is a Defiler that's been Nurglified. For anyone that doesn't know, this was an official Forge World miniature. It is no longer in production. And a very good friend of mine kind of donated it to me and gave it to me. He started the project a long time ago and he never finished it off. It was the Golden Chin. If you don't know who the Golden Chin is, please do check him out on Instagram. Make sure you give him a follow and support as a thank you for giving me this cool model. This model will 100% make it into my final list. I don't care what else I take. But this means so much to me that he gave me this piece and I love it so much. And I need to figure out how to like finish off the legs and make the legs match my army. But I don't think I've got the heart to do a lot with the body. He did such a good job and it's like testament to him. So I'm sure I can figure something else out to make that work. We move over to sprues. Now, I used to work in Games Workshop. I worked there for 15 years managing the store in Warhammer Dublin. So yeah, I had the opportunity to kind of pinch some stuff back in the day. It's not really stealing, by the way. These are stuff that would go in the bin. So for instance, when an edition goes away, like old starter sets will have had to have been broken down and kind of gotten rid of, or sent back to head office to be recycled and stuff like that. But because it's so expensive to ship it back from Ireland to England for that shredding, we were generally told just to recycle it. And by recycle, I mean I took loads of it home. So for instance, if we go for poxwalkers, now considering that I already have 10 poxwalkers plus 20 poxwalkers is 30 poxwalkers, and then we go 40 poxwalkers, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and then these are the additional Death Guard sprues that came with an extra like 7 random ones. So what, 107, 14, 21 plus, so that's 151 poxwalkers. Is that enough poxwalkers?
The limit does not exist. The limit does not exist.
Would I love to see like 120 poxwalkers fully built, fully painted, stomping across the battlefield? Yes, I would love to see that because it would be thematically cool, but I think it's also currently in the rules really, really gross, and I don't want to do that to my opponents, but I would love to see it. So I'm sure I will at some stage use these. I'll get the 120 poxwalkers built, and then the remainder of the poxwalkers will get donated to a friend of mine. He's got a Death Guard army as well, and I think he's short on poxwalkers. And like 120 is the maximum that I can use, so there's no point in keeping any more. With the other sprues, these are like the old starter sprues. Do you remember them? So there's a Blight drone, there's like a Lord of Contagion, or like the Chaos Terminator Lord dude. He's in there. And then there's some like Plague Marines mixed in too. So I think these sprues mixed with these sprues makes a whole heap of characters, plus 7 Plague Marines, plus a drone. It's so many models. I don't nearly want them all. I don't want them all at all. So I'll once again build a couple more squads, probably another squad of Plague Marines, like the Dark Vengeance Plague Marine squad. I'll build one of those, a couple more drones, and then I'll obviously give the rest to that friend again, so he can bolster his Death Guard force as well. Don't need these sprues. I'm sure there's a third one of these. One's here, one in the box. I'm sure there's a third one somewhere. That's really annoying me. I'll definitely find it. Obviously, there's a squad of Blightlord Terminators. That's really cool. I already have a squad of 3 Death Shroud Terminators. I know there's another box of 3 of them as well somewhere. And I know there's 2 more of these somewhere. I just can't find them right now. So as you can see, it's quite a ridiculous haul of Death Guard miniatures, and what I need to do now is to decide what that's going to look like for 500 Worlds as a campaign. So yeah, I've planned out my first 500 points for the boarding actions, and what I need to paint for that is I need another squad of 5 Plague Marines painted up, and I need this guy painted up. So yeah, I'm going to be painting this guy in today's video. And yeah, getting that done, talking about what's going to happen and stuff like that. So let's dive into that bit. I almost forgot a third full squad of Plague Marines that I had. They were on the other table there. This is actually quite a fun squad because it's a 7-man box set that you can just buy off the shelf. And then I've upgraded it to have the kind of custom icon, the custom sergeant, that they came in separate clam packs and blisters. Don't ask me why. But then I've also included this guy. This is Captain Sassy Pants, and this guy represents the sergeant of the squad. So it is the Nurgling that's wearing a Plague Marine helmet. He's quite famous amongst the community. And one of the cool things is I've always talked about, like, this is a full 10-man strong squad. He's in charge, or at least he thinks he's in charge. These guys all find him absolutely adorable, so they just play along and pretend that he's in charge, kind of follow his orders a little bit. And yeah, it's just really characterful and really fun squad, so that'll definitely get painted up very, very soon.